Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy Bill Mahari here, represent Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Much love to the entire LDBC and the entire basketball community. Just one quick announcement. I won't be able to do my show tonight. I got some family, stuff that's going on tonight, so I won't be able to attend, do the show. But I will guarantee you, I will do the show tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Time. So make sure to tune in for that, though, guys. Understand what I'm saying? Normally it's on Friday nights, 9 p.m. Central Time, but unfortunately I won't be able to do it tonight. But we'll do it Saturday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. So keep that in mind, you guys. So this is just my post game thoughts on the Clippers versus the Lakers that took played last night. Okay, now I didn't watch the full game last night because obviously I was working, but thankfully I was able to record the game and then watch it. Basically this morning. Okay, now here are my thoughts about this whole thing here. Okay, the one thing that if you're a Lakers fan, this should give you some confidence. Okay, because through the first three quarters, LeBron was absolute trash. He was absolutely trash. All right. The first half of that game, LeBron literally was shooting 2 for 9 from the field and only scored 6 points. Okay. Now, the other thing that also should give you guys some confidence for you too is that Anthony Davis was literally carrying the Lakers in the first half. Literally, he was doing a good job attacking the basket, getting to the free throw line, and really was the guy that really changed the tenor of the entire game. Okay, now at the half, okay, as we get into the second half of things here, that's when LeBron, basically was still struggling in the third quarter, but then started to kick it up a notch in the fourth quarter. Okay, in that fourth quarter of play, LeBron pretty much scored 7 points in that fourth quarter of play and had that critical putback dunk off of the missed free throw that pretty much helped them lead to a victory. Okay, now here's what I see from this whole complexion of the game here. We saw the strengths of both of these teams. Okay, now these teams were not shooting well from beyond the arc. The Clippers were 16 of 36, and the Lakers were pretty much 11 for 36. So neither team was shooting particularly well from the 3 point line. Okay, both of these guys were pretty much relying on their stars to really carry to the finish line here. Okay, now LeBron James was doing his job, guarding Kawhi Leonard throughout the majority of the game, but LeBron James was not as aggressive as he could have been. Okay, I know there's gonna be a lot of LeBron fans gonna say, "Oh man, you hating on LeBron because he was struggling and all that." Listen, when you're a great player, you gotta assert yourself. Okay, LeBron to me was not being assertive as much as he should be. Okay, now there is some factors here. Okay, there are some major factors here. One, Rajon Rondo and Avery Bradley were not in the game. Okay, those are your two best defensive players. All right. The other thing too that also you got to consider the fact, and this is the video I'm going to say for tomorrow, the disrespect for Anthony Davis is beyond ridiculous. All right. Now, if you're a Clippers fan, okay, you knew that both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were going to be the guys to pretty much carry the load for you guys. Now, they did what they were supposed to. All right. Even though they didn't make enough clutch plays down the stretch that could have influenced the outcome of the game, they did what they were supposed to do. Okay. But you also have to consider the fact that, you know, with no Montrezl Harrell and no Lou Williams in your lineup, all right, that's pretty much 30 points between those two guys. All right. Lou Williams is the kind of guy off your bench that can get you 20 points off the bench, but also can go off at least for 25 or 30. And you missed that key element off your bench. So that did play a role in the outcome of the game. Montrezl Harrell, his defensive presence and his physicality and his energy, on both sides of the ball, was really much felt in the game too as well. So I really felt that, even with the Clippers and the Lakers losing some of their key guys, this was still pretty much a good game as much as expected here. Okay. Now, the one thing that should give you guys some confidence if you're a Lakers fan is that with LeBron struggling for the first three quarters and Anthony Davis, pretty much dominating throughout the first three quarters of the game, you pretty much put it like this. The Clippers to me, they have the personnel to defend against LeBron James, okay? The flip side is this. I don't know if the Clippers right now have this the defensive guidelines or the game plan to try to slow down Anthony Davis, because pretty much Anthony Davis was just out there balling. All right. He was out there literally. He literally was the only guy that was being assertive and was taking and basically was being aggressive. All right. Anthony Davis throughout the game, he went to the free throw line a whopping 17 times and only missed one free throw. All right. He was pretty much being assertive on the offensive end. And even though he didn't get a block shot, his presence in the paint and his ability to block and change shots is a major influence, because a lot of teams are not going to look to try to attack the basket, especially if Anthony Davis is out there in the vicinity. Okay. And if you're the Clippers right now, you really have to consider the fact that, listen, one of the star players for the Lakers was struggling, but still they were able to win the game. Even though I still think that the Clippers are still going to win the championship, because I believe that if you have the most talented players on one team and were able to play in their same particular roles, I think they'll still be able to win. I still have the Clippers winning the championship, but I will not lie to you if I say that that what the Clippers did last night. They were pretty much playing good basketball, but it still wasn't enough. To me, that could be a little bit concerning. Now it could change when Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell come back, but that's just the impression that I felt about that. Now let's break down some of the stuff that the first take crew was pretty much saying. Okay, pretty much that they were basically talking about mostly about Paul George and Kawhi and LeBron, this and that, but they were not even mentioning Anthony Davis. And if you're Anthony Davis, you should feel disrespected about this. You know why? Because every single time they have these kind of debates, what do? They always talk about, oh, LeBron was basically, was doing this, that, and the third, what, and basically, was pretty much, was reserving himself. What? Did you guys watch the same game that I saw? I saw Anthony Davis being aggressive. He was the guy that pretty much was the focal point of the offense. All right? This disrespect of Anthony Davis is just beyond ridiculous. It just drives me crazy. So I'm literally sitting there listening to Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith speak their nonsense. And I'm sitting there like, where is the respect for Anthony Davis? All right? I am just convinced at this point that they are trying to do whatever they can to push Anthony Davis out of the Lakers. All right? If the Lakers don't win the ship, Anthony Davis is bailing out. I'm telling you, that's just that's what's going to happen. You can book on it, okay? But here's the thing: Anthony Davis is much more important to the Lakers than I would say LeBron James is. I know there's going to be people that's going to say, "Oh, what do you mean? LeBron's a great player and all that." I listen. I never said he wasn't a great player. I said he was. All right, but let's make something very, very clear, okay? Anthony Davis is going to lead them to where they're going to get there, okay? Now, you know that LeBron's going to do what LeBron does, all right? You're not going to stop greatness. All you can try to do is just try to slow it down or delay it, all right? I truly believe that if the Lakers get this kind of production from Anthony Davis and basically with the same kind of familiar production LeBron would get, because LeBron was just absolute trash last night, all right? Don't get me started the first three quarters, okay? Listen, if they play up to their capabilities, I'm telling you, the Lakers may have a great chance to win the ship if things go their way. You understand what I'm saying? So the other thing too that I particularly was impressed by was that how much Anthony Davis was efficiently was aggressive offensively. He was basically taking good shots. He was being aggressive, and he was pretty much literally was the entire offense for the LA Lakers, literally and figuratively. All right, and the Clippers right now, they're going to have to answer a couple of questions here. How are you going to try to slow down Anthony Davis? Two, how are you going to incorporate the other talented players off your bench? Are you going to incorporate them to try to help them out? To help out the starters. All right. Now, there's no denying that how talented these guys are off of their bench. All right, but they don't. But not. But listen, Jermichael Green, Landry Smollett, and then also Patrick Patterson, and also Patrick Beverly. They're all good players. I'm not denying that at all. But if you ask me, none of these guys right now could have slowed down the lick of what Anthony Davis was doing the other night. All right. Now when Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams come back, that's going to change things. But Doc Rivers is going to have to find another way to pretty much slow down the attack of of Anthony Davis. To me, that's where it all starts. Now you know that LeBron is going to get his whenever he can. All right. But the big key factor to me is how they're going to slow down Anthony Davis. All right. To me, that's where they're going to have to really strategize on it. All right. So it was a good game. I was pretty much entertained, and I was really impressed with how both teams played. All right. But the disrespect that the media always gives to Anthony Davis because he's teaming up with LeBron is getting ridiculous. It's like the Chris Bosh syndrome all over again. All right. And this is another thing though too. I like the one thing that I really didn't really took offense to is how I'm sorry, Max Kelvin was trying to say that Dwayne Wade was not in his prime when LeBron was in Miami. Like what? What are you talking about? Dwayne Wade was the best player on that 2011 team. Did y'all forget about this? Did y'all forget that Dwayne Wade was a Finals MVP and for 4 straight years was one of the top 5 scorers in the NBA? And 2011 was still his team. All right, he was averaging 25 and a half points per game, and then succeeded some of the scoring role a little bit to LeBron James the next year. So cut off with the BS. Dwayne Wade is very, very disrespected a lot in the media circle, not in NBA circles. So at the end of the day, man, Max Kelvin needs to stop smoking to whatever he's smoking. So I don't know what he's talking about. But let me get back to the subject in hand here. The point is this. I think that right now, I think that the Lakers right now have to feel good about how the game turned out for them. Even though LeBron did not have the best game by his standards, the fact that he was able to accept the challenge of defending Kawhi Leonard and basically defending against Paul George should give you some confidence. And the fact that even though LeBron did not have the best offensive night, the fact that Anthony Davis was putting up 30 plus, that should give you some confidence if you're a Laker fan. Hopefully that we'll see a better matchup out of this as the shortened condensed season progresses. But that's just particularly what I felt about the game last night. It was pretty much an entertaining game. I enjoyed it, and the Clippers have got some work to do to try to figure out this 1-2 punch problem of both Davis and LeBron. If they're gonna have any chance of winning the ship, and I still have them winning the ship, but they're gonna have some work to do. But tell me what you guys think in the comment section. What do you think? Do you think that Anthony Davis and LeBron James, you know, trading scoring roles together is going to really pretty much offset one of the other, or do you think the Clippers' depth and their star power is going to overwhelm the Lakers? I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think.